E.N.D here, Naya Enchantments, a deck that came to life thanks to Kamigawa Neon Dynasty, and thanks to Kamigawa Neon Dynasty there are some cards from Kaldheim, and I'm referring to the runes that no one would have imagined how strong these cards would be. Let's see if we can hit Mythic with this 3-color deck. Opening hand, not the best opening hand, only 2 lands, but I'm taking the risk only because I think I have enough lands in this deck. So green source in play. And let's put in play Generous Visitor. Generous Visitor will give a +1/+1 to any creature whenever an enchantment will hit the battlefield. My opponent played a mountain, now played a plains, borrows colors, bloodthirsty adversary with haste, swing for 2, no block from my side, I want my Generous Visitor to remain alive. White source, and let's put the Kami of Transscience. Kami of Transscience will also get a +1/+1 whenever an enchantment will hit the battlefield, and it hosts also trample. In hand to Jukai Notaris. Jukai Notaris is an enchantment creature, so it's a very, very strong creature and a very, very important creature in this deck. Hello Haunting, Rune of Speed, and the Commune with Spirit. So my opponent, 2 red source and a white source. What you going to do? Do you have a removal? You don't have nothing. Are you going to play something, a creature, an artifact? What are you going to do? Come on, opponent. Come on. He just swing 4-2 with the bloodthirsty adversary. At this stage, I'm not going to block with my Kami of Transscience. Kami of Transscience can get quite big if it's not removed, if it doesn't die. Are you going to play a removal spell or nothing? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Come on. Come on, you have only 3 lands, so probably you can play only 1 spell. Nothing. My opponent didn't play nothing, and there's a land. I really needed a land. Jukai Notarist. Let's put a +1/+1 counter on my Kami of Transscience. Nothing happened there. Now my Kami of Transscience is a 4/4 with trample. I can play a red source or I can play a green source. Let's put a red source and play a Rune of Speed on my Jukai Notarist. Put a +1/+1 counter on my Jukai Notarist, only because it has lifelink. I think my opponent is going to play with fire. Okay, play with fire. My Jukai Notarist is dead. But as you can see, my Kami of Transscience is a 5/5 with trample. So my opponent is at 13 and I'm at 16. And in hand, I still have a Jukai Notarist and a Commune with Spirit. Symmetry Gatekeeper, that's a dangerous creature. Exiles a Rune of Speed, so whenever I will play an enchantment, I will get 2 damage. I think I would have preferred to exile the Jukai Notarist because Jukai Notarist is an enchantment creature, so whenever I will play an enchantment or a creature, I will get 2 damage. But probably my opponent wants to play creatures. What are you going to do? Are you going to swing with both creatures? No, you can swing only with 1. No, he did nothing there. No land. Unfortunately, I didn't draw a land. I really needed a land, at least a green source. Okay, let's play Jukai Notarist. Let's put a +1/+1 counter on Kami of Transscience. Kami of Transscience will get another +1/+1. Now, my Kami is at 7/7. My opponent didn't block. Okay, if he didn't block, probably has a way to remove my Kami of Transscience. Next turn, I can play Rune of Might and get more +1/+1 counters. Angel Fire Ignition on Symmetry Gatekeeper, Trample, Lifelink, Indestructible, Haste. Okay, Lifelink. I think he played that card only for the Lifelink. My opponent is at 10 and I'm at 10, and a Forest top deck. Forest, Commune with Spirit. There's a Rune of Sustenance. Okay, I think now the game is over. With only 1 white land untapped, I think he doesn't have any way to remove my creatures with only 1 white. Okay, I will get damage because I'm playing enchantments. But really and truly, I don't care of getting some damage because my Kami of Transscience, now it's a 9/9. It will be a 10/10, an 11/11, and a 12/12 thanks to the Rune of Might. So my Kami of Transscience is a 12/12 with trample and lifelink. So are you going? He just did a double block. I don't know why he did a double block. I think I would have just conceded at this stage. If he doesn't have a way to remove my creatures, I would have conceded. I'm at 18, he's at 3, and he just conceded. Okay. Okay. He didn't have any way to remove my creatures. As you can see, this is a very strong deck. In a couple of turns, creatures can be lethal. Just a couple of turns, and Camel of Transcience was a 12-12 with Trample and Lifelink. Second game, opening hand, much better opening hand. 2 Room 4 Champion, Jukai Naturalist, and 3 lands, Commune with Spirits. Jukai Naturalist has the perfect synergy with Room 4 Champion, because Jukai Naturalist will reduce the casting cost of enchantments with 1 generic mana, and Room 4 Champion, let's Commune with Spirits first, and I think the best thing to go for the Rune of Sustenance. And Room 4 Champion can play runes for only 1 generic mana. So, reducing the cost of 1 with 1 generic mana and play for 1 generic mana, it means that you can play any rune for free. Yes, you can play any rune for free. And now you will see, because I have the 4 Room 4 Champion in hand. Circle of Confinement. Unfortunately, my Jukai Naturalist was removed. It's a pity, because Room 4 Champion and Jukai Naturalist together, they have the perfect synergy. There's a nice removal. Let's play a red source. So now I have the 3 colors, the Naya colors. Room 4 Champion. Let's search my library for a rune. Rune of Might. +1/+1 and Trample. And don't forget that whenever you play a rune, you will also draw a card. So it's quite beneficial. My opponent, only 2 lands in play. Only 2 lands in play. Circle of Confinement. Very, very good enchantment, especially to remove small creatures or small casting cost creatures. Touch the Spirit Lamb. I can remove any danger that there is in the battlefield. Rune of Sustenance on the Generous Visitor. So now Generous Visitor is a 3/3 with Lifelink. I'm not going to block. Don't want my creature to die. Okay, there's a land. There's a land. My opponent missed a land drop. Very good. Very good for me, not for my opponent. Let's remove the Generous Visitor, because it's getting big and it's getting danger. Let's put in play a white source. Let's put in play Rune of Sustenance. Draw a card. And that's another land. Okay, my opponent is missing land drops and I'm drawing lands. And that's Magic Arena. Magic Arena. Turn after turn, you draw only lands. Or turn after turn, you never draw a land. And I think my opponent didn't draw a land. Okay, he has a land at least. There's Jukai Naturalist. Okay, Jukai Naturalist. I told you, perfect synergy with the Room 4 Champion. Let's play another Room 4 Champion, because I want to search for another rune. Let's choose the red rune, which will give haste. So I can play those runes for free. As you can see, I'm tapped out, but I'm playing runes for free. And that's the power and synergy of Jukai Naturalist and Room 4 Champion together. I can play those runes for free. Let's swing with both creatures. One has lifelink and the other not. He didn't block. I'm at 19, he's at 15. 2 Room 4 Champion in hand and the Showdown of the Skulls. Very, very useful spell. You will exile 4 cards and you can play those 4 cards in 2 turns. And then the level 2 and level 3, whenever you play a spell, you will put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. So you can imagine how strong that card can be in this deck. And don't forget, I told you Jukai Naturalist will reduce the casting cost of Showdown of the Skulls to only 1 red, 1 white and 1 generic mana. So from a 4 drop to a 3 drop. Unfortunately, borrowed time, and probably my Jukai Naturalist is exiled. Yes, Jukai Naturalist is exiled. So now I don't have the benefits of that creature, that enchantment creature, but I still have 2 Room 4 Champion in hand, Calm of Transcience and Showdown of the Skulls. 5 lands, 5 mana, My opponent has stepped out. What you're going to do? Are you going to attack? Are you going to keep the Kami of Transcendence as even? He just attacked. So now my opponent is open. I can play Kami. I can play Showdown of the Cards. I think Showdown of the Cards is the best option at this stage. And yes, very good. I have Commune of Spirit. There's another rune, but there's a touch. The Spirit Ren. There's a removal. Let's put the removal there. And now I can play the Rune of Might for only 1 generic mana. Let's put it on my Rune 4 champion, the one that has lifelink, so I get more life. He's at 8, I'm at 16, I'm at 20, I'm sorry. He's at 8, I'm at 20. 16 plus 4 is 20, thanks to the lifelink of the Rune 4 champion that has the Rune of Sustenance. My opponent, 3 lands untapped. Did you draw a land? Did you draw a land? Come on, what you going to do? Do you have something to play? Rune 4 champion, I think the game now is over. He just conceded. The game was over. I had enough spells in hand and exile that I could have easily won this game. And he just conceded. Very good game. Third game. As you can see, it's a very powerful deck. Again here, only 2 lands. Opening hand. I also took a risk here. I have enough lands in this deck that I can take a small risk. Okay, for the time being, I didn't draw a land. My opponent playing blue, probably Azoris, colors, white, yes, white. And this also has black, so it's a 3-color deck. Jukai Notaris, Kami of Transcendence, a 3/3. 3 damage. I have Rune 4 champion, 2 Rune of Sustenance. Okay, Vanishing Verse, so Kami is gone. No land, unfortunately, no land. If I hit a land, but I didn't hit a land. I could have played Rune 4 champion and play all those runes for free. Commune Spirits, let's see if we can find a land. Okay, we found one. Let's put the red source so I have the 3 colors. But I'm not going to play the Rune of Speed, only because if my Jukai Notaris is removed, I would have just lost that rune. And if my Jukai Notaris is still alive, okay, Foretold spell. Okay, so that Foretold spell, it's not Saw It Coming. So if it's not Saw It Coming, it's Behold the Multiverse or Doomscar. And I think this deck will play a Doomscar. I think that card is a Doomscar. At this stage, I want to play as much as possible runes, only to draw cards. And you can, as you can see, I'm drawing lands. Okay, please let's remove this spell. My opponent is at 9 and I'm at 28, but I think that Foretold card, it's a Doomscar. And yes, it's a Doomscar. Unfortunately, all my creatures died. But this is the game. This is current standard Doomscar. There are a lot of board wipes. There's a Jukai Notaris and the Rune 4 champion exile thanks to Showdown of this card, so very, very useful. Very good. 4 cards, let's say, exile. My opponent didn't play nothing, so let's put in play Jukai Notaris. And no counter. Rune 4 champion. Let's put a +1/+1 counter. No counter. Okay, so you don't have counter spells. So you don't have counter spells. Rune 4 champion can search for runes even in the graveyard. That's why I have wanted to check my graveyard, because I have the 3 runes in there. Rune of Speed, Commune with Spirit. Let's put a +1/+1 on my Jukai Notaris. Jukai Notaris has lifelink, that's why I'm putting. Okay, only lands, 3 lands, so I just choose one of those 3 lands. Rune of Speed. Unfortunately, here I did a mistake. Unfortunately, I could have put my Rune of Speed on my Jukai Notaris for the lifelink. Wandering Emperor. Okay, so Wandering Emperor will exile my Rune 4 champion. Okay, and he got also
This
2
is
life.
what you get
So he's at
for
11,
tonight.
I'm at 28. Wandering Emperor is a very, very good planeswalker. Very, very strong planeswalker. One of the best planeswalkers recently printed. Not to the level of, let's say, Liliana of the Veil or Jace the Mindscaper, but it's a very strong planeswalker. Very, very strong. Okay.
Remember your training.
No creatures from my opponent's side. Farewell. Farewell. Exiles everything except planeswalker. Room for champion. Again, let's put room for champion in play. Let's select the might or the speed of the success. Select the sustenance, because I already have a 1 speed in hand. Let's play E.N.D. Coming with spirits. Let's see if we can. Hello Haunting. I was trying for
I'll be back.
okay. There's a reason why I didn't play the Rune of Sustenance. The reason is because Touch the Spirit Realm, it's not only a removal spell, but it's also a flicker spell. So I can channel Touch the Spirit Realm and I can flicker Rune for Champion. And that's the reason why I didn't play that Rune of Sustenance. I wanted those 2, let's say 2 land to remain untapped. If my Rune for Champion is targeted, and that's why March of the Outwardly Light. Touch the Spirit Realm. Let's flicker. Exile it. Okay, I will lose the Rune of Might and bring it back. Search my graveyard now for the Rune of Speed and back in my hand. That's why I didn't play the Rune of Sustenance, because I wanted those 2 lands to remain untapped. Now I have Hallowed Haunting and I have 4 lands untapped. Let's play the Rune of Speed. No, I think the best thing to play is Rune of Sustenance and create a 1/1 creature, spirit creature. Now I can play the Rune of Sustenance and I will give haste to that. Now it's a 3/2 spirit. Generous Visitor. Okay, and I can swing with 2 creatures. Unfortunately, both of them don't have trample, so I think it's just going to block with those 1/1s. It's a very good game. It's a very long, good game. I'm playing everything that Memory Deluge. I'm playing everything that I can play. I have 3 Showdown of the Skulls and enough lands to play spells. Hallowed Haunting will help me, giving me spirits. And if I have 7 enchantments or more, my spirits will also have flying and vigilance. The Wandering Emperor.
I've learned much
Okay, that's
during my
dangerous.
travels.
Rune for Champion is exiled. And he get
You are not much
life.
of a road.
Kami of Transscience. Showdown of the Skulls. Let's put +1/+1 counters. Now you're going to see how fast and how strong my battlefield will become. I have only 2 lands untapped. I can play another land, because I didn't play a land this turn. Jukai Naturist. Jukai Naturist is also enchantment, so I'm going to create spirits. My spirits are 6/6. Rune of Might. Let's put more and more. I think the game is over. I think the game... He doesn't have any way to remove everything in his turn. I think the game is over. I will end that all. The game was over. As you can see, all my cards, all my creatures, all my battlefield, how strong it got in only 1 turn. And that's Naya Enchantment. Join me for part 2 of this particular series, Naya Enchantments. Can we hit Mythic? And as always, subscribe to my channel for more and more videos about Magic the Gathering and the collectible world.